Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet?
I love people as I meet them one by one. People are just wonderful as individuals. You see the whole...
My great aspiration, my greatest ambition is to be so good. Now, in that way, I'm tiresome, as I suppose, to live with, because I want to be a fantastic human being.
I am the greatest. We're not disputing that, Cassius, but how does Sonny Liston feel about it? He can't feel but one way, and let's take everything I say and like it. Because February the 25th, I'm going to take back my job. I'm the champ. He's no champ. He's a tramp.
When you see men fall, don't laugh. Learn. Learn. Because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation.
Yo, what's going on, people? Peace, blessings, glory, praise, and honor to the Most High. It feels good to be back here, man. I love these interactions. I love the event. I love to get things off my chest. More importantly, I love to have these type of conversations with the people, the ones that typically don't happen certain spaces, because, well, quite frankly, censorship has seemed to take its toll on a lot of us, that we just don't get that same raw, authentic heart to heart that we used to anymore. But shout out to the people who are still out here doing it. My writers, my poets, my content creators, all of y'all, man, much love to you. Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's about to go down. We got a show for y'all, man. I've been sitting back trying to just show some love and to some degree acknowledge a lot of the artists out here, man, that just don't get recognized. You will see some singers. You will see some live performances. You're going to get some poetry. You're going to get a little bit of everything Saturday. Make sure you tap in. I got Sydney in the building, of course. Much love to her as always. And I got a new panelist, a young lady that I got to chop it up with the other day. Do me a solid. Make sure you show her some love. Make sure you make her feel welcome. And more importantly, let's have a good time. You know what I'm saying? So let me bring everybody up. I'm gonna let them do their thing, their intros. And I got something for y'all. We're gonna talk about it. I'm new to it. This is not new, but it doesn't really make a difference. So let's get everybody up here, man. Talk to me. How y'all feeling?
I love your hair.
Thank you.
I love this baby. Look at her. Don't be able to have my kids.
You want to say hi? Say hi. What's that? You being shy? Yeah. Here you go.
What's the word, man? First and foremost, I want to say thank you to both of you. I have a habit of doing it. I'm gonna always do that. What's going on? Hey. I like to acknowledge everybody who takes time out of their day to sit here and we talk about pretty much everything up here. And the significance of these discussions to me mean more than the camera and us leaving here and going about our everyday life. These things happen every day. People need help. People need to hear that there's folks out here that still believe that there's good out here, and that's ultimately why we're here. So real quick, if you want to introduce yourself, I'll let you handle your business real quick since you're making your debut on the stream.
Just jump right in there. So yeah, I'm Mia Musa. I am a comedian, producer, writer, mother, curator, based in Baltimore.
Okay. Well, I already talked to you, so as far as I'm concerned, you're a natural up here anyway. You never gave me the impression that you had any type of like nervousness or nothing like that. So I figured let me go ahead and just let's get it out the way right then and there. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
I like your earrings too. Those are cool.
Oh, thank you. Oh, you're so sweet.
Sydney, you want to introduce yourself? I mean, y'all are just meeting for the first time, so I wanted to catch y'all before we went on officially, but you know how things happen. You got to roll with the punches. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So my name's Sydney. I am obviously a mom, as you could tell. I'm also a poet, scientist, sort of. I'm not really working, but I absolutely love science. I have my background in psychology and environmental science. So I really like to speak out against how we treat the planet. And then I also really like to talk about like political topics, social, cultural issues, stuff like that, especially things that affect people's like mental well-being and happiness and stuff like that. And then, yeah, besides that, I'm a writer. I obviously I do the podcast 4 times a week. And then I also am in an art gallery. But other than that, mostly it's taking care of the kiddos and doing my writing. It's very nice to meet you.
Absolutely. We sound like we have a lot of similar interests.
Yeah, you'll be surprised at the similarities that a lot of us have up here.
Mm-hmm.
All it takes is just that divine order, like when people just start falling to place with who they connected to and the type of post you make and stuff like that. I'm still amazed at how many people I've come into contact with just off of using one app, because I'll save that for an entirely different day. This first video I'm gonna play is 4 minutes. It actually pretty much explains what led up to the next video. The next one is a little more graphic. This one is just giving you a backstory, how it started, or at least what everybody speculates is the main problem with why this happened. Some people are saying my man deserved it. Other people are split. And so we're here. I want to hear from a woman's perspective what you see, how you feel about this whole YouTuber thing. Yeah, it's a lot. So let me bring this up on the screen real quick. I thought I already had it in queue. I got sidetracked. I had an email come in. I'm gonna let it run all the way through, and then we'll go from there. I'll come back to the other one after our initial thoughts on this portion right here.
There's always two sides to the story. The new footage that I just got changes your whole perspective on this situation. Take a look.
If you go to Finney's channel, you would see like almost every video was about Sin City Manny, man. Every one. Where he would not only go at Manny, but he will also go at his wife, Julie.
Like, who leaves the house looking like that? Like, what about leaving the house like that makes you like feel like that's tight? Like when he left and he put that makeup on as a guy, and then he put the hat on with the fake cholo outfit. Like, what about that? Like, what do you think he said? Like, do you think he was like, man, I look hard tonight? Like, what is his goal? I don't get it. What's his goal? Does he want to look like a clown? Does he want to look like a cholo? What's his goal? I wish I had my zoom in game like Donuts. Donuts be zooming all in on. Look at how her back going. Is that Machete's woman? Like, like
yeah, you whooping the shit out of Machete.
Is that Machete's woman right there?
Yeah, yeah, it
is. Like, you know when Martin said that Nasatol? That is the definition of Nasatol right there. Like when it sinks in. Like, look at how when you get to the ass, it curves inward. Like the ass is supposed to curve with hers curve. She got an end booty. We got a front booty and she got an end booty. That's it. We call her an Eddie.
That sounds like trolling to me. And real disrespectful too, because you don't talk about somebody's wife like that. I'm not picking sides, I'm just saying.
It was Manny's biggest adversary from Manny's perspective to making it big one day. Because Finney was very open that he had no plan on stopping. As a matter of fact, he put Manny's name in his title, hoping that when people search up Sin City Manny, they would discover his channel so they can see all the hate that he has said about Manny. So Finney was really content. He was in a great position. If Manny ever grows, well, his channel will grow too because he's a Manny hate channel. And hey, if Manny don't grow, then mission successful.
Hey, real quick. Hey, when you didn't want to tell him your name, but when he go click Sin City Family, guess who's gonna come up? Shout out to the algorithms. Shout out to the algorithms. Shout out to me putting your name in the title so this would happen. That was the goal, man. Was to get big enough when they type your name in, Big Smile Finney come up. And I'll be smiling hard, man. And then they go click it like, dang, what's this dude smiling so hard about? Then they come in and they hear me say, man, he's a punk. He eats.
Like 5 hours, 6 hour live streams, man, of people just ragdolling this dude Sin City Manny, man, going at him, exposing him, talking about his wife, his family, him. Yo, their entire mission was to make sure that Sin City Manny do not become a successful YouTuber. We're essentially running a Sin City Manny hate channel.
JC told me I better chill, and let me see what JC told me to chill about. JC say, legend, stay on Panty's butt, never give up. Laugh out loud. Shout out to JC. I don't like being on man's butts. can I be on Julie's butt? Can I please be on Julie's butt instead of Manny's butt? But I'll read the comment how you read it, but just can I please be on Julie's butt? I have spoken. My baby girl is here. She here early, y'all. She here early from the East Coast. She here early from the East Coast. My baby girl Anna say, TT long and strong. Say, Finney for the win. Best stream chat. Well, hopefully you enjoying yourself, and anybody picking on Miss TT will get punished.
So I'm not being biased with my opinion. I'm just keeping it 100 and going off of what I see. What's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. Stop trolling and stop thinking that everybody ain't on nothing.
So that's the history. That's pretty much what the whole issue is. That man was pretty much essentially trolling that brother for a long time. Like he really like dedicated most of his content to slandering and disrespecting that man and his wife. And you know, I always say the comment section is ruthless. The comment section sometimes don't really care at all about nothing. They egged it on. They were, basically involved with the slandering and the jokes. And so here we are. You got the backstory. I got the aftermath. Your initial thoughts on this whole thing, just about streaming, the competitiveness of it. How do you feel about them going back and forth? Like, how do you feel about this video overall? We can start with Sydney and then we'll go to you.
Wait, before we do that, because I'm still missing pieces of this, and I know I asked you before for me to see it, and I ain't have time. So, what ended up happening as a result of him trolling?
Oh, you want? Oh, see, I was trying. I didn't want the kids to see that portion because it's kind of graphic. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
My man,
he's gone now. You could.
All right. I mean, because all right, I got you. Hold on.
Just to clarify, so was the shooter the one that was being really insulting, or was he the one that was killed?
The shooter is the one that was being insulted.
And then the two that got killed was the ones he was making fun of?
The ones that got killed were the ones trolling him.
Okay.
Right. Let me bring this back up here real quick. Hold on. So let me do this. I will argue this one first.
Headed, no.
Not that one. That's a whole another story in itself. Where it is. This is the aftermath, but this is the one where he's actually coming to look.
Jerome, I'm out here searching for my baby. But I went through every fucking casino there is. I heard there's one of my biggest fans here in fucking town. I'm dying to see him. I'm fucking dying to see him. What are we doing? Fuel bar tonight? Is that what we're doing? I'll fucking be there. I'll fucking be there. You better fucking believe it. You come to my city and think I'm not gonna show up? You fucking think I'm not gonna show up? I should have been the first one to be told. Jerome.
To give you some context before I play the next one, the gentleman right here, he basically told Sin City, look, we here, we in Las Vegas, me and my wife here. They live streaming. You ain't gonna do nothing. He was basically egging and basically challenging him to come look for him.
Audit him off camera while her husband was still on the camera streaming.
This one, all right. This is the one right here. So that's FINNEY and his wife live streaming. There's more.
REWWALSH. I'm the undersheriff with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and I'm going to provide you some brief details about the events that are occurring right now in the 3600 block of Las Vegas Boulevard. On Sunday, June 8th at approximately 10:40 p.m., officers from the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department who were on patrol in the 3600 block of Las Vegas Boulevard heard gunfire occurring on the west side of the street. The officers immediately ran towards that gunfire, and they found two victims who were laying on the sidewalk suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. Our officers rendered medical aid to both victims, but their efforts to save those victims' lives were unsuccessful, and both victims were pronounced deceased at the scene. At this point, we believe we have the suspect identified and that this is an isolated incident, knowing that the suspect and the victim had previously engaged in some type of conflict using a variety of social media platforms. At this point, every effort is being made by members of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department to locate, apprehend, and arrest the suspect who is responsible for this crime. At this point, I'm not going to release any further information. We know that there is a lot of information that is circulating in social media and on a variety of platforms that are out there. What we're asking the public to do is continue to share those tips, but most importantly, please call the Crime Stoppers hotline at 702-385-5555. That's 702-385-5555. That's really important that the information come into one area, make it easier for us to capture the information that's available to the public instead of us having to go through all of the social media postings that are out there. So we can't confirm all of the information that's been posted out there, but we believe we do know who the suspect is. And that's all we have at this time. Thank you.
And that's pretty much that right there. They did get him. He turned himself in, but he's actually saying, look, this was self-defense. And yeah.
He showed himself hunting them down and trying to call it self-defense. That's crazy.
Yeah. I laughed too. I chuckled at that actually because there's another video, and I yield the mic. There's another video where there's another person that's walking in the other direction. And as they're walking, you hear him asking someone that he's with, I believe that with his girlfriend, his wife. I believe he was talking to his wife, and he's asking her, should I kill him? So he's trying to decide if he should do it in this space where you got all these people walking up and down. And his wife was like, nah, it's too hot. So she's trying to get him to wait, or nah, this ain't the time for it. But he still goes ahead and does it anyway. And here we are.
The fact that she wasn't completely against it was like, what do you mean kill somebody? Like if my husband came back to the house and was like, hey, I'm really pissed at this person. Like I'm gonna go out and kill them. I'd talk him down. I'd call his mom. I call his friends, like talk to this guy. Like, do not let this happen. I'm like, oh no, it's too hot. How about just no, let's not kill somebody. What are you talking about? Just, oh, it's too busy here to kill somebody, to commit murder. Like, honey, let's do murder.
Yeah, this whole scenario is crazy. And how old are they?
Probably our age.
My high school kids.
30s, maybe.
I guarantee you they're our age.
That's nuts. Yeah. That whole situation doesn't make any sense to me.
Put it this way: you got two streamers on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Everybody's competing for a spot. You want to be seen. You want to be number one. You want the audience. Everybody has their own niche. Some people like drama. Some people like comedy. Some people like anime. Some people like to play video games. But what happens when you got somebody that is doing better than you and you're jealous or you're envious of it, or you have an issue with the way that they've successfully come about their accomplishments? And now you're in this space where you're trying to wage some type of media war with another outlet over views, numbers, and likes.
I mean, you work harder. That's kind of what it comes down to. And I don't really know who's on the side of who. If you're saying that this person tried to use this other guy's image by hating on him, he was using him to try to get attention and clout. We've seen that in rap since forever and all of that. But if I am an artist, like, I can understand, at the end of the day, we're human, right? We're human. So if somebody is constantly coming at us and they constantly making fun of us, they're making fun of the people that we love and that we care about, we're going to be upset about it. At the same time, I understand that as an artist, as a creative, as somebody that's putting my image out there, that's a whole nother thing, person, entity outside of that. And people will engage with that, how they engage with it. And so I would understand that somebody doing that is for them to get attention. And if I don't want them to get that attention, I wouldn't put no energy or attention to it. So to take it an extra step, because now, like, you can't even say it's about maintaining your streaming numbers or something, because now you about to be in jail for life. Like, because that's what you said. You said he got the death penalty, or he's facing the death penalty.
Yeah.
So, like, there's nothing that you can do with that. He could, like, if it was on some attention stuff, streaming competition or whatever, then you could have made a stream where they going back and forth. It's some sort of debate, some sort of like fun way to engage, or maybe even shut down, what this person is doing. But that approach, that was an emotional response. His feelings was hurt, and he took extreme methods that put other people in danger. He didn't pull up to his house. He said the shooter was 41 and the victims are 44 and 43. These are grown people acting like teenagers. Like, this is something, like, I've worked in high school. I worked with teens. Like, this is something that teens would do because their feelings was hurt and they saw something on TV.
Thrill, like a thrill.
Like, your knees don't even work well enough to have walked all the way down the strip to try to shoot somebody. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's another level of crazy. You can't even say I was just emotional in the moment. He marched, he parked, he came, like, he had to
asked if he should.
He had to swim through them people to pull his gun out to this guy, and for what? I don't think there's any justification for it, and I think that's the reason why he's already possibly facing like the death penalty. And if you're looking at it as like a greater idea about streaming and YouTube and all that type of stuff, like I could see them trying to make an example out of him so that this doesn't happen more.
Still wild to me that he's trying to say it's self-defense, especially when so many people have it on video and they have this history as well that everyone can see it, like the actual evidence. This isn't like, oh yeah, hearsay, we've seen them arguing, they're neighbors, like they have issues and whatever. But the fact that it, like, they've both videotaped both of them going back and forth, and then he still is dumb enough to think that he can get away with saying that it was self-defense. And also, like, if it's really self-defense, why wouldn't you just leave? Like, if you're really trying to protect your life, you could have walked away. It just does not make. And also, if they're filming themselves, I'm just poking holes in this story. I know everyone else is like, yeah. But if they were really going after him they wouldn't be live streaming. Like, they were literally videotaping each other. How could they be aggressors and videotaping themselves at the same time? So there's a lot wrong with it. I mean, obviously, everyone can see through his story, but the fact that he's that, I don't know if it's delusion or just like denial or whatever. I don't know what's going through his head to make him think that saying these things could potentially get him out of trouble. I want to know what's going on in his head. Like, what is this person thinking? Is he, because to me, if somebody goes out and just over a few decides to gun somebody down, that is a level of callousness that normal people don't have. Normal people don't have the emotional strength. I mean, I wouldn't even call it strength, the emotional gall to go up and kill somebody. Most people, even seeing a dead body on the street or even somebody that's injured and still alive, is deeply traumatizing to most people. So it does also say something about his mental issues, personality disorder, whatever is wrong with him, for him to actually have the audacity to do that.
A couple things that I want to acknowledge, and I'm gonna try to play devil's advocate at the same time. I'm gonna speak for the comment section. So on one side, you got people who are saying, well, he shouldn't have been talking shit. He shouldn't have been egging them on. Imagine, just for a second, for a solid year straight, somebody has dedicated their life to slandering your name and disrespecting your family. You've seen it 5-6 hours. You've really putting that much time into disrespecting somebody. You care that much about validation from a audience that don't give a shit about you. They don't know you in real life. They don't know what you do off camera. But you care about them views that much. Imagine you being the guy who has to explain to his wife that somebody is constantly disrespecting her, humiliating her and him in front of hundreds and thousands of people consistently for hours on a daily basis. And you got to go to sleep with that. You don't know what she's saying to him. Maybe the wife is like, I can't believe you let him do this. I can't believe. We don't know that conversation. The buildup, the level of anger, the level of frustration that has to go through somebody knowing that somebody is like constantly pushing your buttons, egging you on. Now look, I use my common sense. To me, bad content is good content because you're putting my name in the algorithm. Say whatever the hell you want about me. You're not going to get a reaction from me unless I'm taking you to court. Because if it ain't making me money, I don't care about race. I don't care about attitude. I don't care about popularity. I don't care about none of that. Give me my money. That's how I get back at you. In this case, it's more about ego. It's more about pride to me. Now, that's where the comment section is split. One side is like, you shouldn't have been playing around with that man and his family. The other side is like, it don't matter if he was playing around with his family or not. Killing someone just because of words, nah. Grow up. And like you said, y'all grown. They're older than me. Y'all still out here acting like that over social media.
Yeah.
You know how many people are on the internet? There's millions and millions of people. I'm pretty sure there's somebody for everybody.
Yeah, I just don't see no justification for it. And I'm not one of them people that think that violence is never the answer. Like, I used to teach anti-violence programs and peer mediation programs. And I would, instead of telling them violence is never the answer, I would tell them, I want you to think about when it's appropriate, you know, and is somebody looking at you funny worth you hurting your body and compromising your freedom? No. Now, if somebody is in your space violating you, maybe, you know what I mean, if they're doing something that's harming the people that you care about, maybe. So in this case, you're talking about the internet. You talking about something you can turn off, you can mute. You know, and you're talking about, again, you're talking about a grown man, Generation X, okay, who was outside. Like, you grew up being bullied all the time. Maybe that was the trigger. Maybe, you know, he grew up being bullied or whatever. But like, I just don't see it. I don't see, again, I can understand if that man was doing something right in front of his face. He disrespecting his wife. He got it, still is going a little bit too far, and there's other ways to handle it. But that's a little bit more justifiable than you going out of your way. You're seeing this live stream and you say, you know what, I'm gonna leave my house, and I'm gonna leave my house with a lethal weapon, because he could have just smacked them. You know, he could have just smacked both of them, walked away, and it would have been nothing. Maybe they would have filed assault charges, but for the most part, probably not. They probably just still would have talked about it. But now you have taken multiple people away from their families. You know, you took this couple away from their children, and he's taken himself away from his wife and family, and have burdened them with that for decades to come, on top of the ripple effect of like the harm caused. And I mean, I think that is part of the issue of like the internet and streaming and all of that, because people do forget that there's real people behind these things, and to be a little bit more careful and a little bit more gentle. You know, I come from a place where like it could go left real quick, and that's why we're mindful about what we say and what we don't say to people, and how we approach people, you know. um but it's just, you put a lot of it was a lot of time he had to calm down, and instead he decided to open fire in a crowded space, you know. That, you know, like Sydney said, like that's a level of like mental issue that's just not, oh, a natural reaction to disrespect. That's something totally different. That's next level. That's that's nuts, especially when you grown. Yeah, we not even talking about, again, 17, your hormones are crazy, and you've been listening to some random rapper brag about killing people all day. You've been sitting in the house with your wife for 12 hours, and you got up from that to go to the strip. Like, that's crazy. We gotta think about it like step by step. Like, the whole process he had to go through to even get to that situation. And, you know, and again, I've told my kids this, like my teenagers, you are live streaming, you doing things that are illegal or that show motive.
And saying you're going to find them. You literally are like, I'm out here searching for these people.
You know, like that's
self-defense, my ass.
Yeah, and then you're trying to say self-defense when you filmed yourself saying that you were going to do that. You already showed motive, and you already showed premeditation, and you showed that. Again, I think we all come from a generation like that. Doesn't make no sense. My father was a drug dealer. There's certain things that I just don't I'm very careful about, and I don't even do illegal activity, but it's just how I was raised. You don't put certain things out there. You don't say certain things. You make sure there's certain things you don't say on the phone or say via text. And you did it live with a timestamp in an audience of thousands of people. Like, as a grown 40-something-year-old man. That's no. We can't even justify that as as anything.
The fact that he also seemed excited about it was also pretty disconcerting. Was also really disconcerting. Like, somebody who's like, yeah, let's go out and take some lives. How exciting is this? Like, watch, you guys. Like, there has to be something wrong with somebody to have a mentality like that, to be actively excited to remove somebody from the face of the planet for a video, for fighting over videos, especially when, at least just from the little bit I saw, he seemed as much of an instigator as they potentially could have been. Like, I don't really know exactly what the back and forth was like between them, but it very easily could have been avoided. Like, you could have disengaged, you could have blocked them, you could have ignored them. There's so many things that you could have done before you got to that point. And I think that's another, in general, like last week I was watching a lot of crime documentaries, so I have that fresh in my mind of all the people trying to say, oh, self-defense, even though like they ended up being caught on camera, like threatening the person or confronting them and stuff like that. And I find myself wondering the same thing as when I was watching those, is what goes through their mind to make them think that people are actually going to fall for that as well. Like, they are speaking to, I mean, I guess every criminal kind of has that like bias. Oh, I'm going to get away with it. But I don't understand how people can lie so blatantly and then think that people will actually believe them and think they're being truthful. And that's even without evidence. So I think this also kind of speaks to how social media itself can influence us, that some people take it so seriously that it's basically the same as it happening to them in real life. Like, if somebody was to confront them on the street, was to go up to their door and start yelling at them and harassing them, the fact that we would take it seriously enough to, or they would take it seriously enough to be like, oh, this person is upsetting me, they're saying insulting things, and so the next logical decision is to go and take their lives. And that really speaks to the power of social media, that somebody feels like they need to actually respond to videos that random strangers are putting out in such an egregiously over the top way. It really has a hold on people, I think. And I think it also kind of indicates the level of the addiction to some people.
You know what you sign up for when you get up here in front of this camera. You have to. Nobody is this age going on the internet and thinking that everybody is going to be Pippi Longstockings floating around with an umbrella, just landing on your property, bringing sun and raisin pie and all the happiness in the world. Everybody is not moving like that. You got monsters on the internet. You got pedophiles on the internet. You got bitter, lonely people that find nothing but joy in making other people's lives on the internet.
Scammers.
Everything here. And if you're going to do content of any kind, you got to have tough skin. And you got to be smart and strategic. I don't adopt nor do I condone the lifestyle of the street mentality. I don't honor it. I don't respect it. I think that is stupid. I think that is a code that only keeps criminals from being held accountable for destroying the community. I'm glad he snitched on himself. Fuck him. Send him in jail. You know what I'm saying? You did the crime, you do the time. As far as the exchange between them two, there's ways to handle it. If you really had that much hate and anger towards, go ahead and see them one-on-one. Fight them in the ring. Make an event out of it. Make some money from it. Or take it in the back alley. You and him, mano a mano, no cameras. And then walk away. There's always a way. There's always another avenue. And one of the main issues I typically have with situations like this is the excuse that people always bring up when they allow their emotions to control their decisions. When you step outside that door, what do? You decide if you're going to walk or you're going to stand there. When you get inside your car, you decide if you're going to put the key in the ignition or push start. When you go to pump gas, you decide if you're going to put 5 on there or if you're going to put 20 on there. You have a decision to make even when you're angry, even when you want to lie, even when you want to be envious, or you always have an option. There's always one. So when people say, "Oh, this, that," I don't want to hear that unless you're clinically proven to be unstable. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Maybe you sniffed too much cornflakes when you were growing up. I don't know. Like some be some be wrong with these people, man, and they get on my nerve. Y'all really be doing all this for the attention, for the views. So people, I don't understand. I don't understand. So when you tell me an adult is more mature than a kids, that ain't always true, man. Some of these kids be way more mature than adults.
That is so true. Again, reflecting on some of the videos I was watching, I watched a compilation where the kids turned in the parents. And when you said that, it immediately made me think of this one. It was a drunk driving incident where they pulled over the mom and she's like, "Oh, I didn't have anything to drink." And the kid from the backseat, "Yes, you did, Mom. You had 3." And it's stuff like that where even the kids now are recognizing their own parents' erratic behavior. I hear it all the time from people that I know and also from people on the internet, where I watched this video a while ago of children confronting their parents about their phone use and asking their parents, "Hey, you don't spend time with me. I miss you. I want to spend time with you. I want to do things with you. And it makes me sad that you don't spend time with me." And even in those situations, there was one mother that was like, "Well, I need to post pictures on Facebook so people can keep track of what we're doing. Our love means nothing if we don't have photos of it."
No. Wow.
But it's the idea that even children can recognize that the people that are adults now are acting irrationally or are falling victim to all these addictions and are not, like, the fact that kids can identify what's moral and what's ethical, sometimes even without being taught. They can innately know, like, yeah, you're not supposed to hit people, you're not supposed to lie to people. Like, some of that is innate, and they're taught to do that by their parents. They're exposed to lying, they're exposed to this erratic behavior, and the kids become that because of their parents. But I've noticed that parents that have erratic kids, especially the ones that are like neglectful and abusive and stuff, they usually blame the kids. I've heard so many times parents getting arrested for abusing their children, and they say, "Well, it's my child's fault because they did XYZ, so they deserved what I did to them." And I've noticed this across the board where there is a overwhelming lack of accountability with crimes. The number of people that I've heard being interrogated for murders or for other things who've said, "I just don't remember. I blacked out. I don't have any memories of what happened. I don't know. All I remember was the gun going off, or all I remember is we were yelling and suddenly they were dead." And I always that always stands out to me because it really, really indicates this disconnect that it seems people have, especially ones that are willing to commit crimes, that they think that their emotionalness is the excuse. That, oh, just because they have heightened emotions, it should be okay because, well, I couldn't control it, so it took a hold of me. People do the same thing with alcohol, where they're like, I didn't mean to. I didn't remember what happened. And like drunk driving accidents, they're like, I didn't mean to. It wasn't on purpose. It was an accident. that's just an excuse. Like, you can't commit a crime and then be like, oh, well, I need to be exonerated because there was a condition. There was a situation that made this happen. I'm like, no, you made that happen. You have the brain that connected to the hands, that connected to the gun, and your brain told those hands to pull the trigger on that gun. It is your fault. And I think it's kind of unfortunate because I've noticed that society is starting to shift towards leniency in some senses, where I've seen more people acquitted just because of like emotional dysregulation. And I think that's definitely not the direction we want to go, because we really, really need people to understand that if you take an action, you are responsible for it. Regardless of what your mindset was at the time, you still took that action.
Definitely. And I think that's what it is. It's kind of like there's a lack of accountability. I mean, and that's what they say when people have anger issues. You know someone's has anger issues when they're always blaming the people around them. Like, I blew up because this person did this or whatever. And that's why it's like I don't even want to have the conversation. And I'm big devil's advocate. People hate me. I'm always going to look at the other side and justify anything. Um, but sometimes when we do that, then we give credence to, you know, immature and sick behavior. And we don't need to do that, especially. And yes, I get not everybody grows up, not everybody grows into maturity, but we do also have to have a society and a culture where there is an expectation that you've lived long enough, you've had certain experiences, you're on a platform where you're sharing your opinions about stuff that has to go through something, that needs to be, I don't necessarily say it got to be vetted, but understanding that there's a responsibility that comes with that and there's expectations that come with that. And so by constantly making an excuse, oh, what he didn't, or they, because everybody think that they're watching a TV show and these are people's real lives. And I remember it's this movie that I really like called The Network. It's from the 70s, and I recommend everybody see it because I think it helps contextualize a lot that's going on nowadays. But um, basically, one of the guys is a producer, a movie producer, not a movie producer. He's a TV producer. And he ends up leaving his wife for this younger woman, and the younger woman is also another TV producer. And this is the 70s, so this woman represents the first generation ever to grow up on television, right? Because she was in her 20s. She would have been born in the 50s when TVs came to home, and he decided to leave her to go back to his wife. And before he left her, he gave her this whole speech that was just like, your generation treats everybody like they're a character in a movie or a character in a show, and you don't think about fully the full consequence of, these are real people's lives. This has real consequences. It's not just a storyline. It's not just a plot. And so now we're talking about, that was in the 70s. So now we're talking about 50 years later, and everybody's doing it for the plot. You already said, like, doing it for the views, doing it for attention. You know what I mean? And we've forgotten our humanity in that. And, I think moments like this bring us back to our humanity, but it still don't. Because when we have that separation of this screen, then we could disconnect ourselves from the actual impact of these actions and be able to, like, oh, wait, shouldn't have said nothing. What? That's the world that we want to live in? Somebody makes fun of you. Somebody teases you, and now you can take their life because of that. As again, as a grown person that should have something to lose and should have something to live for, take that out. There's supports. Take that out with your support system. Decide if that's, if what you're doing is what you want to do. Sue. You know what I mean? Somebody making fun of you all the time. That's libel. That's slander. Sue. Send a cease and desist.
Report them.
Report them. Tell your fans. If you're telling me that the people, hundreds of thousands of people watching and tens of thousands of people, tell your fans to report the page. Like, there's other ways. Say that it's harassment. You know what I mean? There's so many other ways to handle the situation that it's not worth even trying to justify that.
I wonder how much entitlement plays a role, because I think that's another issue, especially with the younger generation, but I imagine it also exists within the older generation, given some like parents, they could be the parents of those kids and stuff like that. But I wonder how much of it is entitlement, because with entitlement, you believe that because of the way you feel, you should be owed things. And I could see how that could apply where you feel so emotional about these people that you feel entitled to do to them what you think that you should be able to do. And so I wonder how often these crimes are because of that entitlement, where they think that, well, I'm better than them, so I should have the right to do what I want. Like, because I feel this way, I'm allowed to do this. Also, I kind of wonder, I'll ask you guys this. It seems like the line of what self-defense is also kind of being blurred, especially now with the rise in people owning weapons. I've, like, just from my own thought process, I would always expect that self-defense would be somebody's trying to break into your home, somebody's trying to snatch and grab, somebody's trying to steal something from you, jack your car, whatever. Like, they're trying to commit a crime against you. But I've noticed, maybe it's just because I pay attention to it and it's biased, but people seem to be getting into more and more fight altercations, weapon altercations, over just yelling, over just back and forth saying names to each other, arguing and whatever. Since when is yelling and using your voice requiring self-defense to that level? So I'm just curious what you guys think about that. Like, do you think we're changing what self-defense means because of all this? Or
well, let me
Good.
let me give y'all a scenario. I just did a stream on Saturday. The stabbing in the Walmart. 11 people were stabbed. Right. Black man has a gun. He got it aimed at the suspect. They're outside. You got two Caucasian men walking alongside the man with the gun, pointed at the suspect. The suspect has a knife in his hand. He doesn't shoot the suspect. They eventually take him to jail. Would he have been in his right to shoot and kill that man after he done stabbed 11 people? He still has the gun, but he's backing away from you in a way of saying, look, I got this. I'm not dropping it, but I'm not coming at you because you got a gun on me. Does he still have the right to just shoot him then and say that was self-defense?
Yes.
I think it depends on your state, because I've heard, I don't know if this is true or not, but I've heard that there are rules in different states. Like, for example, Texas is just, if they're on your property, you can shoot them. Doesn't matter. But in some states, if they turn your back on you and they're walking away from you and you shoot them, that is no longer self-defense. That is murder. And so I think it does depend on where you are.
It does. In Maryland, we don't have self-defense laws. So it would have to be, yeah. I'm a little confused because I think sometimes people can say that it was self-defense, but it's still going to result. I think you have to have certain licenses, especially if it's like a gun involved. They have certain insurances, but it still got to go through court or something. Versus like you said, Virginia, Texas, all I have to do is say that person was on my property, that person tried to steal my stuff, that person made me feel threatened, and you're not even going to get somebody taking you. But I think generally speaking, if it's very clear that your personhood was being threatened, so if somebody is around you with a weapon and they already show proof that they were using it, then generally speaking, that's when self-defense is justified legally. But I also think it's justified morally. Like, if I end up in jail because somebody that stabbed 10 people was trying to stab me and I shot them, I will be okay with that because I'm in jail for my life. I would I would be upset in the sense that I don't think I belong in jail, but that's very different from getting off my computer and getting in my car and riding down to the strip to shoot somebody.
Yeah, bro don't even live in Las Vegas.
So he drove what? How many? He drove an hour to get there.
Yeah.
I looked it up just out of curiosity, and the majority of states have stand your ground laws. Like pretty much everything on the West Coast, everything in the South has stand your ground. The only ones that have duty to retreat: North Dakota, Nebraska, Minnesota, New York, Maine, Massachusetts, Connecticut, basically the New England states, Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey. So all of those have duty to retreat. So if somebody is aggressing you, you're required to go leave them first, try to escape them, and then you can attack them if they are continuing to pursue you. But every other state has stand your ground. So basically, at home, work, in your car, if somebody aggresses you, you're allowed to do what you need if your life is in danger.
I wonder how you come up with that. How do you decide that this state can have this and this one can have that? I wonder how that works.
It's honestly, a lot of it is racism. And it goes both ways. It's argued both ways. Again, me as a Marylander, it's argued that, stand your ground laws, stand your ground states are the racist ones because they empower people to shoot people based off of that. But then you have people on the other side of the aisle that say places like Maryland are racist because you're not giving people the opportunity to defend themselves, even though, we live in places where we, because of that. So like even like NRA, the only time they supported any sort of gun regulation was when the Black Panthers started open carry. So there's like some history there, but it's, there's been activism and advocacy on both sides, but a lot of it does have to do with that. And I think also just like, again, at least I can speak for Maryland, and somebody had brought up Connecticut, which I think is similar there too. A huge part of the industry is prisons. And so if I don't give people the opportunity to justify why they would assault somebody, then that's an automatic inmate, and even though these are small states, they do comparatively have high populations. And again, the racial dynamic of that, the racial distribution isn't totally reflective of the states that they're in. I think specifically in like Connecticut, a lot of those people who are in Connecticut jails are not even from the state at all, and they're coming from different areas like New York and all of that, especially if it's like a federal prison. So
I find it interesting that it's where was it? Because it is both heavily Republican and heavily Democratic. So I don't know why those particular states have those rules. So I don't really know why Vermont and New Hampshire aren't agreeing with them. But yeah, I forgot what I was going to say with that. But it definitely is a mix of people that did and people that didn't. So it's hard to tell.
It wasn't hard to tell with this. You went out of your way to put that man and his wife down. No questions. And I ain't even addressed the wife because his wife is just as a part of this as well. I mean, she ain't pulled the trigger. She ain't you ain't pulled the trigger, but you went with him on the ride. You were right there with him when he shot at them both. You're an accomplice. But I need to look further because I didn't hear her being charged with anything. But to me, yeah, she needed to go too. Maybe not for the same extreme sentencing, but yeah. Why? First of all, why didn't? And I ain't gonna drag this, but why, as the wife, did you not talk him out of this? You're more. She's probably more pissed off that she's the one that's getting roasted, and so she's hurt. So she wants to see something happen.
She's probably mad that he went into jail. He didn't do anything wrong. It was self-defense.
Yeah. My final thoughts, and I'll turn it over to y'all. It's not worth it. Grow up. You signed up for this. This is the internet. You can't control everybody. You can't make everybody do what you want them to do. You only got rule over yourself. And just because people have opinions and they have their own point of view, that does not mean that you have to acquiesce to every single post and comment that someone makes. There are protocols, there are procedures, there are things that you can utilize at your disposal that will pretty much alleviate any grievances that you may have with these parties in the future or in the past without you having to come to blows, ultimately destroying the lives of other people. You have a responsibility to the public, to the people who use your platform to entertain them for whatever reasons. And by you doing the complete opposite, you are a part of the problem, just as well as the parties who have ultimately lost their life, unfortunately, to the tragedy. You're going up here trolling people. You're not really doing anything that is being uh like if this was roast me, like Def Comedy Jam style type of a platform, I could understand that. That's different. No disrespect to the dead, that was tasteless to me. I just couldn't find myself dedicating half of my life to disrespecting people for content. I couldn't.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I mean, he was definitely participating in some loser behavior. Um, but yeah, again, there were so many ways to expose that loser behavior than that. Like that's crazy.
He could have just simply made a video talking about, like, hey, there's this YouTuber that is putting out these videos, like, this isn't fair, you should unsubscribe or whatever. Like, the fact that he felt the need to go and kill somebody just because they said something is ridiculous and really speaks to his lack of self-control too.
Yeah.
Do y'all have anything y'all want to plug? Anything y'all want to shout out? Anything that you want to say to the people before we get out of here?
I mean, anybody can find me, Mia Musa Comedy. I am next week shooting a special, which is crazy, and maybe some other announcements because, again, next week is my birthday. So, yeah.
Day in advance?
I don't. I haven't fully decided what I'm gonna put out there, but I want people to at least tune in to figure, find out. That's what I have to plug. I might have some more later, but yeah.
Okay. I want to say thank you, Sydney. Thank you, Mia. You was on mute, so I just jumped in and if
Oh,
you
you're
got,
good.
all right,
The only thing I would have said was the shooting happened on my birthday, but that was it. It was June 8th, and I was like, oh, well, that's too bad.
can't avoid those at all.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful. I hope this first experience was what you anticipated. I mean, we never really know, but it's always a pretty chill vibe up here, and I look forward to working with you again. I'm glad you could be here with us. I told Sydney the other day I was trying to get her some help up here because it's mostly men up here for the most part. She be holding it down. So I'm still trying to get you a balance. You know what I'm saying? But to the people that's watching, appreciate y'all for hanging out with us. Tomorrow, me and Sydney will be back. Thursday, me and Mia will be back. Lord willing, because life is unpredictable. We just pray and hope that He keep us covered. But with that being said, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. If you need to reach me, you know where I'm at. I'm pretty responsive. One thing that I ask the people to do. Oh, shout out to Dan. I appreciate you, sir, for popping up in here, man.
And Robin hosting.
Oh yeah, Robin, stay on it. I appreciate it. Oh, Rob too, man. Salute to you, bro. One last thing before we go. Appreciate y'all, man. Y'all be easy.
See you again.